and went through those. Okay, so these are then typed up with all those, oh, okay.
Yeah, we had to put down a black line, 7 months old. And that was the sweetest one in the world. Yeah, I think that was just before it happened, she was keeping it around 11 years old, but, you know, just things were starting to look like that. How was it? It was in this condition where she found her legs off of it, so. And she got really, really some big ones, really good ones, and everything. She usually think of it as she was in business, and she was having her head. And eventually she did have it. You know, just came to it.
I did not say the tree, so I catch it.
Sorry, Mike? What's your last name?
Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer.
This was when we
Hello. Hi, guys.
Sorry,
Oh, that's okay. Okay, no problem.
What's going on, how are you?
Hello, how you doing, guys?
Some people work for a living in a business.
No,
How's
my buddy doing?
And I thought it was him saying he was gonna.
Yes, I know him very well.
I think you do know him already.
Does anyone have a pen?
I'll sell you one.
Sure.
I've got one.
It's like a Kurt Vale one?
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I have like 100 of those.
Thank you.
Yep. We call the meeting to order at 7:03. We have a quorum, and we'd like to entertain a motion to put somebody as a chairperson for the meeting.
I'll nominate Shane.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay.
So for your allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the meeting minutes for March 24th.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
We'll second the. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Meeting minutes are approved as recorded. Next is discussion of the zoning regulation document. This is the planning and zoning regulation change application. It is already filled out, previously discussed, and looking for a motion or
Did you just want to review the letter that was drawn up on there? The date will probably have to be changed because it was done for April 6th, so I will have to change the date on that.
you could probably cover that in a motion for the approval of it.
I thought we didn't go with 110,000.
That's what we approved, we haven't changed it at this point, that's what, with the
Oh, I
last
just-
meeting, we approved it, but we haven't changed it since then. It has been mentioned. That's why we're looking at it.
Fine.
Excuse me, do you have an extra copy of that?
It hasn't been approved.
Yes.
Now I remember.
Yeah, originally we had it at, the first proposed document was going to 500,000 with a 250,000 square foot limit on each building. And we reduced that to the 110,000.
I'm up to speed now, I remember.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve the document with the date change for today's date? Reflecting.
I'll make that motion.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried.
So this document will be approved, to submit as it is.
Yes. With the one date correction change. Next under old business is the approval of the survey questions. Lori distributed the survey questions to all commission members. The proposed survey questions.
I did them as multiple choice, that's what we had discussed at the meeting, but there was question 2, 3, and 4, and I didn't know how we wanted those to be addressed.
2, 3, and 4 under which section?
In the first one, proposed questions.
The first two.
Yeah, the first page, question 2, 3, and 4. I didn't know if we wanted to eliminate them or how we would have rewritten those.
I don't know how you can make those
No,
multiple choice.
yeah.
You can put nothing, anything, something.
We could do that, yes. I don't know if I'd want
Instead of those, I put,
Should we just eliminate those, or?
what if we had like a Stafford strengths and challenges, and I wrote up just a list. I don't know if you guys wanna take a look at this.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to, replace this survey with what I wrote, but it includes most of this. It's almost past this to you guys.
That'd be awesome.
Sorry. Collate this before I came in.
That's okay.
Well, then the same thing happens with downtown Stafford, where section, question 1 and 2 are
The same
not
thing.
really multiple choice. Applicable.
Feel free to tear this apart.
Oh. Let me see, that's yours.
Appreciate it.
I just took a glance at other small town surveys and just try to mirror it.
Yeah, that helps a lot, actually. For one or two.
You know, it's open for interpretation. Some people think, oh, there's other challenges I haven't addressed, but.
Well, everybody got the email too from, that I forwarded on from CREC, which I passed out the documents for that.
Yeah.
We were looking, from my understanding, we're looking to utilize their survey and
Yeah.
services.
Right.
We could use these questions as part of the pool going to them, both sets of them, and take it from there in terms of sending it off to CREC, but we should really discuss that as a separate item. If you would wanna, I'd entertain a motion to table this to discuss under new business the services, service proposal from CREC.
That's okay.
If that's something somebody would put a motion out for.
I'll make a motion for that.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. EDC webpage development proposal. It's one thing I really haven't, because we've still been discussing that as a group as to what we were looking to get onto a webpage. So I don't have that full proposal yet.
So we'll just, put that on the agenda for continued discussing.
Yes. EDC vision plan, the set goals.
That can be put on for continued discussion. If anybody has any ideas or anything, they can bring those forth too.
Discussion of the business meet and greet and picking a date.
What is the purpose of that exactly? I've not, since I'm new, I don't know.
Sal, that was something I know you were working on.
What we wanted to do was to bring all the businesses in town together, so they can, just like, almost like a cocktail type hour kind of thing. So,
Like a networking thing, sort of.
exactly, yeah.
All businesses.
But we're talking about doing it when the amphitheater is open.
Do we just want continued discussion on that?
I think so. We're ready for it.
New business?
New business, somebody would like to make a motion to add the proposal from CREC for the town of Stafford assessing the economic growth potential.
I'll make a motion to add that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. This is something that I ended up receiving from, I received it from Rich. He gave me a heads up that this was something that he was gonna be that he was working on getting a proposal for. A lot of the deliverables and the services that they're offering, targeting and doing a survey in a very professional manner. The cost of it comes out for the total project at $19,000. But it also includes the community meetings and business profiling and industry profiling of what will work within the town.
Are these costs, the costs that were in Rich's budget the other night?
I
That $20,000?
I believe they are, yes.
So you're saying we have the money in the budget to do this? Is that what
For
you're saying?
2015-16
The coming
budget, they put
budget.
it in
Yeah,
for July.
they didn't cut that.
No, they just put it in, increased it.
May I just ask when the other CERC study was? Is that what you're talking about?
Pardon?
Wasn't there another CERC study? Is that what you're talking about?
No, this is a new one for the survey
No,
questions.
but when was the last one done? There was one-
2006.
2006, okay. And how much was that one?
That one was $10,000.
That was 10,000. How much did they pay Donald Poland to do that report? Was that like $20,000?
That's planning and zoning, I
So was the CERC report done by EDC last time, or was it done by?
I'm not really sure who did that.
Okay.
The question arises, since we had a survey done in 2006, why do we need another one to do the same thing?
Because of the growth in
economic
staffing.
change.
Pardon me?
The line, that we have going on, the sewer line, the septic,
Yes,
the gas line and everything that's going, poses a potential for development in Stafford. So we're looking to see where people wanna go. That's what the whole survey question is for.
The question I have is what they're proposing in this, and I haven't read this thoroughly, is this the same, would this be the same thing they did last time, even?
Well, sounds
It
like
looks, it looks
This-
different to me.
This looks to be pretty comprehensive.
It looks
Yeah.
different than the one they did in 2006.
Right.
It doesn't look like the same thing.
It's fairly impressive in my opinion. It's you know, it's up there cost wise, but it is pretty comprehensive,
It is
like John said.
comprehensive, that's for sure.
Yeah, the one in 2006, which I read, identified pieces of property that could be used for things and that shouldn't be used for things. This goes beyond that.
I believe this does go beyond that. I believe this does incorporate the pieces of property that should be utilized, pieces of property that will be key for development and right for different types of development. And this is also quite a project, 8 to 12 weeks from the start date.
Can we ask CREC to compare what they're offering with what that one was, so they can tell us the difference between the two?
Was the other one done by CREC?
Was correct, was correct, was it
It was
correct?
done by CERC in 2006.
Yeah, sorry.
It was delivered in, I think it was January or February.
But that's a fairly short report, there's not a lot in it, and I think this looks much more comprehensive than that, but it'd be nice to hear from them, because that should be a simple question, and they should have a simple answer, that, you know, the difference between the two.
Yeah, this is also something, the survey questions, they'll take input from us, but also massage it a little bit more and present it in a way that we'll get some meaningful
So
information out
you
of
would
it.
be sending the survey questions to them, the proposed ones,
Yes,
they would massage those, decide what's appropriate, and then kick that back and say, this is what we recommend doing.
yes.
I did receive an email from Ingrid, I think I had forwarded that to everyone, I'm pretty sure I did. She was, questioning the survey questions. She had gotten word that we were looking for the input from conservation development and whether or not we were gonna have another meeting, a separate meeting, where they would be coming here, and I was to the understanding that each of the groups would entertain their own questions, like the planning and zoning, conservation development, and the EDC, and then compile those and submit those to CREC.
Well, my understanding of it also was, from Dave, from talking with Dave Palmer, was that planning and zoning was trying to do their own.
Right, that's what I thought.
That was my understanding.
Independently with the town or with
The groups.
these guys?
Independently with the town.
Well, is this an EDC thing all the way through? I mean, we started it, we submitted?
This is an EDC thing all the way through. If you look on page 4, the economic development, it's giving us, it's actually going to give us access to some tools as part of this.
Well, I think Peter's right, we should have a little bit more information from them, exactly. Should hear from them what we're gonna learn from this, if we did from the other, last one, although I impressed what I see here in a quick read.
Can I make one more comment, please?
We're not open for discussion yet, though.
Pardon?
We're not open for discussion yet.
No, no.
We will have it open, and entertain questions. So would we be able to, ask them to come meet with us?
We should be able to.
Would they come to a meeting? Can we get them to come to a meeting?
I would like that, are we gonna ask that?
They want money, right? They should come.
You've been talking.
I have not been talking with them, it's
Yeah.
been the first selectman's office talking
But
with them.
going back to the questions, the individual groups are supposed to come with their own survey questions.
Right.
And then we're supposed to come together with those.
Mhm.
Because they're probably a duplication.
Absolutely. We didn't want to just have it one-sided with the questions.
That looks like it's pretty good.
So somebody's gonna invite Surf to come to the next meeting?
Yeah, we could ask,
Do
Richard.
we need a motion on that or anything, or do we just do it?
You should have a motion on that.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion that we invite Surf to the next meeting.
And I'll second that. It's unanimous.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried.
Yeah, I'll talk to Richard and I'll see if I can get him on the call. And the next meeting will be with
Under some, I guess this would be under new business,
Nathan.
some discussion of some things that are going on right now. Aubuchon's has closed on the purchase of the old bus terminal, the old bus company building. They're looking at sometime in the near future, they're currently working with Dave Palmer on site design and plans, and it's closed and they now own that. Another one is Railroad actually contacted the First Selectman's office. There's a business that they have that is looking for property near the rail line, preferably adjacent to it. The business makes manufactured lumber. And once the rail line upgrades have been completed, it's going to be something where they would like to establish a presence somewhere out in this area.
We're looking for 100,000 square feet.
100,000 square feet,
For manufacturing space.
yes.
What's the current manufacturing cap in square feet? Do you know?
There is no cap on
There's no
it.
cap.
Business, there isn't
No
a
cap.
cap, yeah, retail.
I know retailers, I didn't know
Yeah.
manufacturing.
Mhm.
Does that have to be right on the line?
It does have to be right on the line. The other is, at some point in the near future, the railroad, North Central Railroad is going to be looking to reach out to us and possibly come to a meeting and start doing some outreach within the community to gain more business for the rail line. They're looking for more freight.
Isn't the building down by Rossi Brothers, there's a big warehousey building, is that kind of empty or not, or
CNC Industrial there?
yeah, down over in
They've got
that,
some
the rail
space, I
line's right
believe,
there?
down there, yeah.
'Cause you know, I
Yeah,
don't know
Warren's
how
in the
much is
back.
empty, but that's right on the rail line.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe that's a good spot. Maybe we could start there.
Hmm.
Talk to, Jimmy. Jim owns the factory there. See how much retail, you know, how much industrial space he's got there. Give me a call. Yeah, I know Jimmy, I'll give him a call. According to the plan, that building is really bad shape. Really?
I
He was-
also heard the same
He
thing
was,
from,
he was out there, he can't,
Oh,
couldn't possibly afford to have to use it for winter. That's his. Okay. Yeah, he know.
I also heard the same thing from Dennis.
Maybe something else.
Are there any other pieces of property that fit there?
On 190 near the overpass,
Yeah, that would be one.
Which property's that?
isn't that, Pure Diesel owns that?
Oh, you're talking about the one,
Where they have that little turnaround area there, isn't
that's
it?
in Wellington. You're talking right on, right on.
190 going
Yeah.
over towards the Big Y.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about 32, I'm sorry. Yeah, that could be good.
Where do you?
When you go the overpass, right
Yeah.
after that, there's that little.
Yeah,
road
sure.
that
Right.
turns in
On
on
the right, oh, we got the building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, right.
Right before Advance there, you're talking
Yeah,
about.
the
Okay.
place with the monuments.
Yeah,
So it's a question of existing building versus building.
Right, property.
yeah.
And I thought even, remember the, well, I don't know if anybody remembers the old chicken coop up on Orchardville Road?
None of us are that old.
No, okay. Well, I remember the chicken coop
Oh, which is-
up on Orchardville Road, but I'm not sure if that property is available near, where Madison Company, Lumber Company.
Oh,
used to
the
be.
lumber yard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
the old
that?
T lumber.
Right there.
That's not very big though.
Yeah,
But it's a-
that's the property.
It can't be more than 20.
Mm.
Time frame for this at all? For, like, when they wanna,
But it's nice to use an existing building
Yeah.
if you can.
like, the next year, they wanna develop this.
For,
Any
The
time
lumber
frame for moving
that-
in?
no time frame was really expressed. This is also, well, both myself and Lori had met with Rich earlier this afternoon, and this is where this discussion came up. Where the railroad reached out to the selectman's office on this. He wants to let us take the next step and get them in here for a presentation and discussion as to what the plans are and what their plans are. And they're also gonna start some community outreach, and they wanna help us in terms of come in, give the presentation, and then we can do the outreach within our community.
How fast are we gonna do that?
What did you think the time frame was there?
And I didn't really,
It really wasn't expressed, but we can, I guess we can get back in contact with Rich and see what the time frame would be.
We should put that on the agenda.
yeah, we could, what date? The 5th, we've already got correct company. That's the next meeting, the 5th of May. So you're looking into inviting them to the next meeting,
We could.
May 19th?
Well, you certainly come from.
Yeah, we
the
don't
fifth
know,
meeting.
so those are all.
Mike,
One
wanna go?
house.
Yeah, have extra.
What did you say about, what's Abishon square footage gonna be? What are they looking to do there? Did they give any indication?
There was no indication.
Is there gonna be lumber? They're gonna, I was hearing things that they were gonna make it a partial lumber yard too, is that true, or?
Really haven't heard
Okay.
anything yet.
Did you say, I just heard a couple things?
Yeah, they're gonna be working within the constraints of the existing zoning
Yeah.
regulations.
You wanna put that on the agenda for May 19th, contingent upon everybody else,
Yeah.
everything working out, and that's for the railroad company to come in.
We need a motion for that?
Sure.
So moved. Second, whatever.
Sure.
Third.
Good.
I don't think anybody opposed?
No.
Yeah, there's also, we were given, I had sent it out to everybody, there was a gentleman, Mike Lewis, who was looking to open a bakery.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's also
What
more
are his needs?
Downtown?
How
zoning
big?
available.
Downtown?
Yeah, he's looking for 500 square feet, kinda small, cheesecakes,
Small.
cakes.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah,
This
so
is it, yeah.
Do you know how serious he is? Do you have any idea?
He's serious about doing it, that's, this was passed out to me from the building department.
Country Village shops, those are gone, right? I mean, that's not something,
Yeah.
What is the status of that plaza there?
I think he's,
What's his agenda?
the ground's gonna eat it up, I guess. What he started to.
We need someone to purchase it and do something with it.
He was great for that.
They make a nice, really big tire shop you could put over
Hey,
there.
when Uncle Vicky had it, it looked great. My uncle had it, it looked great. It's a shame.
Mhm.
So what are we supposed to do with this?
We're supposed to try to find some available place or,
Well, don't we have a lot of business buildings available downtown that are empty?
I
I mean, I think so, don't we?
don't know. I know of one that's empty right now, and that was where the, store was gonna be going into, that farm to table store, that was proposed. I don't know if there's any other available places.
Does anyone know how we find just like what's available down there? I've learned that anyways.
What's available in the downtown.
You
Yeah.
could, you could recognize one of the members of the Downtown Business Association who might be
I
able
don't
to
know
tell
if
us.
there's anyone here though.
You have the house right next door to Howard Buckland's, building. The gentleman, I don't know what he wants, he did want 49,000 for it. He put new sills, he put in new structures to hold the building up, and it's got a new roof. It's completely gutted. It would make a great bakery or shop or something. The ice cream parlor, right next door to that, the lawyer died. That building has been empty for 2 years now. I believe the ice cream parlor will be going up for foreclosure. You have Mr.
Lisa, can I
Marcos,
interrupt? You mean the little one over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
so you have both of those buildings.
Downtown.
I don't know if the ice cream parlor is coming back, but I heard gossip of it going up to for foreclosure. Where the newspaper place was, that's completely empty. It has been for a couple of years now, since she passed.
What's
Which
that
place
place?
is that?
It was the newsroom.
Yeah.
You know, all the guys
And the
hung
lawyer's
out
on-
there.
The lawyer was there, yeah.
And then the lawyer was there, she
Yeah,
got
it's
cancer,
worth
she
it.
passed, and it's been empty since. Mr. Marco's building, I know he doesn't want it, but that's empty. The building that says Cruise America, or whatever it is, the blue and white
The
one,
travel one?
the travel one, that's empty.
Wow.
Yeah, that's,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
somebody owns that.
Larry
It's
McKinney,
still
I
empty.
Isn't that,
believe-
yeah,
I believe
McKinney?
Larry owns that, Larry McKinney.
Yeah, that's
So
what.
you could reach out to him.
It's still empty, so you've got those,
Maybe the
let's see,
spot for the
1,
bakery.
2, and then of course Paul's
It's
Place,
across from.
3, 4, 5.
Now, are these people who are
5 or 6
interested
places.
in
The
opening up, willing
seamstress
to
thing,
buy
there's
these
a
businesses?
little
or-
parking lot
I don't
that
know.
you.
Probably want to
What do
rent,
you-
most people want to
Most
rent.
people
Before the
wanna rent,
later
so.
apartments.
Should we, what was this,
Three
should we invite him to a
standing
meeting?
Stuff in there, don't
Or,
Marcos.
should we just?
Oh, no, that's Marcos. That's
Oh,
come to a meeting.
That's the one with the-
Well, I know his stuff has,
Just,
But we
Do
should
we know
have
where his-
something available for him too.
there's a little,
Yeah, we could.
So,
small parking. lot.
Well, shouldn't we have like a list of everything that's available in town
Mhm.
somewhere?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how we keep that up, but.
Do we know where he's from?
no one else.
Or if
This
he
is
lives in
what was
town.
handed to me.
It's a 250. I don't know what that is.
Does anybody know any of these
Listing.
people
Yeah.
that own all this property?
He probably
Is
does.
there any central listing like that,
That's what I'm
people
just
in
saying.
town, yeah, they
We
could
need a
list their
list.
properties, you know, here, we're looking to rent this for, maybe we could do something like that.
Does
Or
the
is there an
Downtown Business
existing one?
Association, have any further reach other than, it's called downtown, isn't it? So-
It's the business, it's, Main Street Business Association.
So it doesn't have reach beyond downtown, really?
Well, we've tried to, organize a business association. There's about 30 businesses in Stafford that have signed up for it, which is free. It's just got pictures and hours on it. Yes, they could. we've been trying to reach out because, we were suggested by, a few people that have businesses that they would like to be involved in some kind of a business association.
It would, I would think it'd be nice if the EDC could provide, somebody could provide to the selectman's office a list of everything that's available, so when somebody calls, Beth says, yeah, there's this building, this building, this building, here's
Quick
the owner, this
response
is the
to
owner, here's the phone number,
Right.
bang, 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 just
Yeah.
like that.
Nice quick response.
We could create a database with it,
Yeah, actually, it can't be that bad.
Um,
just do something quick in access, or even Excel spreadsheet, and just.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Until, it's gotta do the work.
I have no problem if you wanna compile a list for me, and I can start putting it together. Okay.
Well, I would have to go to the assessor's office and get a list from them.
Well, they're not gonna know what's empty, though.
Right.
They're not gonna know that.
How would we know? That's true.
Ask. Well, we've got a list of 1, 2, 3,
Well-
4, 5.
I just told you 5, so I'm sure that,
Well, but to put together an official list,
yeah, but you could probably figure out just amongst yourselves what buildings are empty, just driving down 190.
I think it
You
would
know?
be two, what's available for rent versus purchase, and what's the cost of it, and
Yeah.
right?
what's the rent a month, I mean,
Right.
break it
Yeah.
all
I
down.
mean,
and-
there's a lot of work that would be involved in it, but I can,
Right.
And there's
Yeah, we
also
could all
people
see
like
what's
Jack
empty.
Mako where he's got stuff in that building.
well, I said that Jack was
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, he
not
doesn't want it.
interested, but,
Yeah.
you know, if maybe the right person offered him the right money, who knows, you know? I'm just telling you the businesses that are not being used right now. They all
Create a
need
little
work.
questionnaire and call
Could,
them.
could send, could do a mail.
I'll call Larry McKinney, see if he's, he wants to rent that spot out there, that building we were talking about, the one that says the cruise is on there.
Yeah,
I'll talk to him.
yeah.
You know, he's got a tenant upstairs, I think that rents upstairs, and then, but the below section, I believe, is empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll give him a call.
Anybody about the other buildings?
What about the Woolen Company, is he renting space out of the factory? I heard something about that. I
Oh,
don't know.
his other building on Furnace Ave?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the one,
heard
the
that
one
he's
that, is right on the river there.
Maybe we should ask him.
I've seen work going on
Okay.
there. I
You should
don't
reach
know
out
what his
to him.
plans are.
I thought he was gonna do a seamstress, have a factory there
Oh, really?
and sell those, and have a store there too, like, what I thought.
He's got a lot of space there.
Any more new business?
I just, went up to Putnam a couple weeks ago, and talked to a few business owners up there as far as what they do, and they indicated they had a business association that businesses each contributed $100 a year, and that is how they get all the events that go on up in Putnam, the 5K, the different activities, they have a blues festival, or they have a jazz, or they have the different things, so they have an association that does it. Roberta Rochetti is part of that too, so she talked to me a little bit about that. So it was interesting talking to the business owners, and they had some great ideas. When we were at one of the restaurants up there, they handed us an envelope, and it was sealed, and it was a coupon in the inside of it. And in order, you could bring it back, but you couldn't open it until you came back again, which almost guaranteed businesses a revisit, that people would come back if they wanted to use a coupon, which I thought was a really good idea, to do that. I was really impressed, because, in order to use it, you have to come back, it can't be opened, and, up to 50% off on an item, so,
Is that association through the town, or is it the business owners?
Business association, yeah.
They
But
created it
They
themselves?
create all that, the whole things that go on up there, they fund it,
In Putnam, they have a person whose job it is, was the nicest office in town. Whose job it is to think of all these things to do in town.
Mhm.
And she's very well paid, she's paid more than the mayor is. And she sits there all day and just creates ideas and things and events and stuff.
Huge grant, she
And
does
she's-
that, huge grant from the waterfalls
She
there.
does grants and she does
got
all sorts
that,
of things all day. That's all
all
she does.
powered.
Full-time job.
What about the brownfield, or is that what it's called,
The brownfield,
yeah, what are we
for
doing?
the different businesses, I have no
We
idea,
can
I
look
don't
into
know.
the CT brownfield website, they do grants. It's just that the Bacchus Motors, that's the possible brownfield site in town is,
On their Heisenville Mill,
so there's multiple sites then.
And there's a difference between a building that's contaminated and the ground that's contaminated. And there's a difference depending on what the kind of contamination is. My
Right.
wife does it for a living, so on a Superfund site level, not like this, big sites, and so I hear all about that stuff. So it's all different depending what it is.
I could start looking into it, just doing a little research. We wanted to do that anyways.
And when you do a building like the Hyattville Mill, if you have a purpose for it and a plan and somebody to move in, it's much easier to get money. You can't just go clean it up.
Yeah, right.
You have to have a plan for it and a mission and a goal and an objective. And then they're liable to fund you. You can't just say, I wanna clean it up and make it nice and have it ready. That's the kind of look at it.
Does there have to be like a contract? I mean, that,
You gotta
that
be
far.
very far down the road with somebody, a real plan of really what's gonna happen to the building before they'll give you money. So it makes it more
Makes
difficult
sense,
for
yeah.
us to do.
yeah, some of these are items that we should, some of these properties we should identify along with Dave Palmer, and then start reaching out to the owners of them. That's at least a start.
Find out if they wanna do it.
Yeah, find out if they'd entertain working with us. We can, as a town commission, we can possibly aid more in getting those funds. Getting a plan together.
The Hyattville Mill, the guy's dead, so it's in limbo.
What about,
That's a problem.
what if the current owner wants to clean it up? Can they do anything with the brownfield? Or does that have to
Again,
be?
you have to have a plan for funding, to get a grant, you've gotta have a plan.
I'm thinking the back is building is pretty contaminated, isn't it?
That's what I heard.
That's the
I would
perception.
say,
The ground, yeah, the perception, all the years of the oil and the gas.
Is there a plan for that building? Or nothing?
You wanna open it up for
Motion to open up for this public discussion?
Sure.
I'll second it.
Minute, 2 minutes?
There you go.
Let's see, what's your?
Round yours.
32 seconds.
Two
The only
minutes.
thing I wanted to say is that with this search study, you should probably make a recommendation not to spend money on that until after, the proposal for the gas line goes to referendum, because you might get an entirely different view of things if the gas line passes or if it doesn't pass. So, to spend money on it before that goes to referendum, you could be shoveling that $20,000 down a black hole. So my suggestion is to wait until after, before you do anything, contract with CERC to, see if the gas line proposal referendum passes.
Is there a date for that? When that's gonna go over?
This contractor goes to the first selectman, not us, would it not?
This would actually be through us.
Really?
They would go right to us after, if we approve it.
I was
It's
thinking
in
that-
economic development, and from what Richard said to me and also to Laurie, it's in the Economic Development Commission's court to act on it.
Well, we certainly don't want to go off premature, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it looked, at least from reading, I read through it, and it looks like it is also considering that pipeline, and I know that the danger for that expansion is, because it is combining utilities there for the purpose of the hospital. The danger there is if it doesn't pass, what happens to the hospital?
You lose it,
Yeah, the hospital needs water and sewer regardless of what happens with the gas line.
right? Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
gotta happen,
You
or
need
it's
to-
gonna go away.
Exactly, we're gonna lose them if we don't.
Right.
Do we know how
That's a
much
must.
that's gonna cost? Is that like $8 million for the sewer?
That portion,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't recall
I
what the
don't
number
know.
is.
I don't know.
I don't have the figure.
I wanna say it might be 6, but I'm not sure
We'll
if
have to
I
find
why I
out.
know that.
I think Dennis told me about 8, but that was in December.
But there also are, like, the Big Y is tying into it. and,
Yeah.
I mean,
The Big Y, the
businesses
housing
that are
authority,
tying into it.
business.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
there's a
didn't
lot
know
of
if it
things
changed.
that are, in the, there's a lot of
Because we
things in the
also got
plans.
a grant, 500,000, wasn't it, for the elderly housing up there?
Correct, to bring all of those services up to there.
Um, Is this survey questions that you're going to send out, are you going to take into consideration what Mr. Titus brought in tonight before you send that out to people?
To Peter?
That's on Titus.
Yeah. For
You just run
Peter,
those
yeah.
there.
He brought his
On the
in.
survey, you had something different, or you wanted to add to it, right?
It had included Lori's questions, but it just had,
Additional.
But at this point, they're not going out, they're gonna go to CERC. And CERC is gonna look at the questions and tell us what questions to send out.
Okay.
right,
No,
not sending
no,
it.
that's fine.
And on that, CERC would actually be doing that survey themselves.
Right.
Correct,
We wouldn't be involved with that.
Business and residential, I would think,
Correct.
correct.
so we wouldn't even be doing it.
So it sounds like now, from what
That's,
Butch said, yeah, that maybe you'd hold off on the CERC study to kind of see what happens with the gas line so that you even know what the potential is for businesses? So then the survey would come after?
Well, if CERC comes in and talks to us,
Yep.
we could say to CERC, well, look, the gas line may or may not happen, so what do you think? And get their opinion and then digest that and see what we should do.
Yeah,
Because I think the potential for development is still there, even if the gas
Right.
isn't there. I mean,
Yeah.
you still have the sewer and the water.
Right,
well,
Which
it's,
it still
it's,
poses a potential for development along the 190 stretch, so.
it's still here, you should
Businesses
probably still
in.
do the CERC study, except that, you know, it depends on whether the gas line passes or not. That could make a big difference on how they view what they recommend.
Right,
I'd rather look at it as you keep saying the gas line. It's a utility project.
Well, you're
Yeah.
making an assumption that you don't know is gonna happen or not. If you say, well, you know, give us a study that assumes we have a gas line.
Well,
But
there-
the
there's-
gas line,
there's no harm in getting CERC in here, just talking
Right,
about it.
exactly.
There's no harm in getting CERC in here and just talking
well,
about it.
there's no harm in getting CERC in here, I don't disagree with that at all. But what I'm saying is that you might get a different view even from CERC if you did the study before the gas line or after the gas line. If they come in and make an assumption that you get a gas, you're gonna have a gas line, and you don't get it, then the assumptions could be a lot different.
So
I
we need
think we
to
would
tell,
make them aware of that.
Yeah, well,
right,
We're
tell
gonna make
them
them aware of that,
I know you're
there's
gonna
gonna
make
be a
them
couple
Maybe this year,
scenarios.
plan A
I
and
know,
plan
they're
B.
going to make it clear.
Yeah, yeah,
right,
But,
yeah, we're not gonna put.
you know, unless they want to give it to you both
Yeah,
ways.
yeah.
Yeah, that's for everything. So we'll have an option A and B.
Right,
right, because you have the 3 studies, the Plan of Conservation Development, 100-page thing done in 2012. You have the CERC study from 2006. You have the Poland report from 2014 that you spent money on already, so
Yeah,
another
we kinda wanna get
20,000.
the, general public's opinions
No, no,
too.
no, right, no,
You know,
that's,
so I
the
think
survey's
that's
different, but I'm
trying to
just
get
saying
everybody in.
$30,000 has been spent, and then there's the free one that the town did with Ed Muska and Ingrid and different people. So that already talks about where the town is right now, so the CERC study could, I just think Butch's point is a good one, and other people, that it might be a good idea to wait a little bit to see what happens.
Well, I don't think anyone objects or.
Yeah.
No, and I don't, we haven't done any deal with them yet, so,
Yeah.
no, we're just kind of entertaining the.
It's-
The one with Ed Muska, what?
That's the Plan of
Yeah, what's
Conservation
that?
Development that was done in 2012, and that's the 100-page report.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think Lori has the links to all that, 'cause I
Yep.
sent them
Okay,
to her,
okay.
so.
it's on the website. isn't
I'm
it?
sorry, I thought you said there was like another survey
No.
too.
No, these are all the
Okay, sorry.
reports that have been done about sort of the development of the town
I got
in the
you,
last,
Talking about the
Can
plan
you-
of conservation.
Yeah,
development. Yeah, plan of conservation development's about that thick,
Yeah.
and it would be a good thing to look at.
and Lori, I have one question. and I don't know if this goes to you, but you're the secretary and a member, right? So is there any way, like Tallinn does this, that if there is something that we can look at the meeting, we can print out ourselves, that it could be uploaded, like scanned in or anything, and then we can print it, because I don't want you guys to waste the paper, but if we could do that on our
Talking about
own.
a survey?
Yeah,
Anything-
she wants
anything,
to
like,
have
if
all the
it's-
documents we're looking at.
If it's possible, I don't know if it is, I mean, there's,
Apprehensive to do it until it's get approved, because it's just for discussion, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what kind of, we're a working commission. It's, so I don't know.
I would say right now, we have the one document that is approved, and that's something that's gonna be
And I
part of
can
our
file that
meeting
with the
record.
minutes if
yeah,
you'd
that would
like,
be
and
great,
then we
yeah,
could do
yeah,
that.
just, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's possible.
Yeah, these other documents right
Yeah,
now
so
are
it's all
open
up
for
for
discussion,
discussion, so,
and we haven't, the only thing we've done is basically made motions to discuss them further.
right,
There's more misinformation out there.
right. So what I could do, when I file the minutes tomorrow, I can put in the zoning regulation
that'd be
change
great.
document so that you have it. Because once it's approved, then it's all right, the
Yeah.
commission has made
And
the
again, we
decision.
don't want you to
yeah.
waste paper either, so,
Right.
all right, thank you.
But I will, I'll post it tomorrow. Is that it?
Any further comments from the public?
I just have a question, how are you coming along on doing like a tourist, map, so to speak, that you were gonna be putting on the
Well,
website?
last time I talked to Louis and you people were going to give us some information.
I did give you
Never-
some more information, and then I was told by Fran that, Moriarty, that you guys were gonna do something online, that basically was like a tourist guide. That was discussed a few meetings back, about three
Brief
or four
discussions on it, but
three or
that's,
4 months back.
Yeah, and we were waiting for
I
information. to come
did
in.
bring in all the maps
well,
that,
we need some specific information, which Louis said he was gonna furnish. And that's
Oh.
the last I ever heard from him.
I didn't speak with Louis at all, I just assumed that, you know, from the minutes past, from meetings past, that this was something that you had changed a little bit, and that you were gonna go in a different direction, so that somebody would pull up, Stafford and have destination areas in which they could go to.
That was the web, that was the web development page we were gonna do.
Yes.
Correct, and,
Yes.
that got put off, Fran didn't wanna move on it right away, and Shane was supposed to come back with another request for quote. It was supposed to include like the hiking trails and the
Yes,
different things, cause I
Yes,
was
thank you,
for
Laura.
that, that's
Thank
correct,
you.
you're right.
thank you.
Mhm. So that's what we were supposed to work on, but you haven't, we're waiting for a price for the weather, and do it more as a tourist type of website,
Yes, and that's what we
so,
were hoping
yes.
for,
And I know I had
Yeah.
given,
to begin with.
We're waiting for a quote to come back
Okay.
to us for that, but we are gonna do that. put
and I
that
know I had
together.
given a rough estimate of the quote of coming in at around
This is gonna be
11,000.
a print, you know,
Pardon?
this is gonna be an online, not a.
I know that,
Yeah.
I understand, I would rather have a map to go into all of the town buildings and all the libraries and everywhere, but, online is,
That
we
was
take
also
any
something,
kind of tourist map that we could get,
that was also something that we had discussed too.
yes,
Was the, doing the map.
yes, which was a great idea, then when,
Yeah.
I love the
Because
idea,
we don't have the money to pay for it.
and neither
we
do the
need the
businesses in
commitment.
Stafford, you know.
Well, we did
neither
get
do we.
more money financed to us in this year's budget, so vote yes for the budget. So that we can vote for. But, it would be great, you know, if we ever got that passenger line to go through, to have it on all the different train stations.
Exactly.
What's going on in Stafford.
people
and the
can
different
pick it up and
events.
open it
So,
up and
I mean,
look
it's
at
still there, you know, it's still an option that's there, but there's so much going on
Yeah.
right now, but we're waiting for
And
a quote for
as
that.
to what you were doing, the map was a great idea, but, you know, as just one little business, I have very limited access to the how many hundreds of businesses in Stafford and destinations. And that's why I approached the EDC on that issue, because, you know, you have all of the lists right at your disposal, while I do not.
They're all online, everything we have is online, all the businesses you can see. I don't remember what the website is, do you? Sorry?
The website for the
Was it
business,
on
it's right on the town,
townstafford.org?
Yeah.
town,
Town
yep,
Stafford.
yep, the
Yeah.
town of Stafford has a business listing.
Yeah,
Of every business in town,
Those that wanted to be
yeah,
listed
those
there,
ones on
yes.
there can list your services. Yeah.
mostly retail.
you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's not what I was looking for, I was looking for more of something that would be in the train stations, in the library, in the stores. If you came into Stafford, you'd go, I would like to take a hike, or I'd like to sit and have my lunch in a park, or I'd like to go to the hospital, or I'd like to know where the gas stations are, or
Nothing
Little
existing
stars,
like
it was-
that, yeah.
it was just like what I had presented to
printed
the.
Getting the quotes,
Yeah.
I had gotten
Yeah.
the quotes
Probably more for the
after,
local business.
And it was awesome, the
I had
company you
gotten-
dealt with was awesome,
I had gotten the quotes to do a professional map,
which was a wonderful map, could have had the potential for.
but we would have had to have sold ads in there by the businesses
Mm-hmm,
in order to get it printed.
mm-hmm,
$4,000 to $5,000 to go to print.
mm-hmm.
How many copies were you getting?
EDC's annual
We weren't
budget,
asking for the, if you recall, I did not ask for the EDC to pay for anything because I understand that you have an extremely limited
Which-
budget.
yes, which is why that had wilted.
And you had said something about that if the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, or a club at school funded, they'd get kicked back half of it, and it was like all this, it was awesome
Mhm.
planning, I thought it was wonderful, and then and then when Fran came up with the online, then that's what we would settle for. I just think it's important that Stafford promote itself, we have beautiful historic and natural beauty here, and we're not doing a thing to promote it in Stafford, not a thing. You know, and it's a shame. I mean, you know, people know that the races are here, but what else do they know is here?
How many copies of the map were you gonna get for $5,000?
Was looking at, that was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4,000.
4,000? So like $1 a copy?
Would there be any way to have like a PDF file, so that just at least to start, it could be on the website, so people could print it off, or the businesses could print off maybe some copies for themselves and keep it in the stores to hand out?
The listing of the businesses?
Well, just the map, I mean, we talked about developing the map and whatnot, is there any way to get it at least established in a PDF form so that they could, you know, if she decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go on my own and I'm gonna print 20 copies and keep them in my store for my customers and provide that as like a courtesy to my customers, is that something?
We
I
can
know you
check
talked
and
about
see
the
if
printing, I just didn't know if there's
photographer
any way to
Yeah.
get something else developed, so at least if people wanted, the businesses wanted to take it on themselves, they could.
We can check and see if our photographer is gonna do that work for free.
I mean, we have a lot of local artists too, I'm sure in town that would be willing to,
And
To
that's where
donate their
Lewis
time.
had stepped up and said that he was going to do that.
okay, cool.
So
As
where
far
are
as
we
I'm
at?
concerned, the ball dropped with Lewis, as far as any print.
When we had talked about $4,000 to $5,000 to get maps to go to print,
$1 map is pretty reasonable, but,
but it would require the business to have your ad in there, basically business card size
yeah,
of $175.
yeah, and people do it all the time in every single restaurant in town, and they do it in phone books, and they do it they do it in the Lions Club's phone book, for goodness sakes, you know, I mean, it's just,
If the main-
I'm not a salesman, what I had reached out to the EDC was for a letter to be printed to all the businesses in town, or an email sent out, where people could possibly say, yeah, I'd love to do this, I want my name and my business with a little dot on a star on a map. You know, you want tires, come to me, this is where you're gonna get good tires here in town. You know, I mean, a walk Stafford map.
Someone's
would-
gotta step forward and do that, that isn't part of our responsibility to do that. We
I
can
don't
support
have
them,
the
but someone-
accessibility to that, never mind.
I agree, I do think it's worth looking into. I do
Thank you,
think that
Lori.
there should be a map available for people
All
when they
towns
look
have
at
a map
town and see
available, and the
different
town
businesses.
provides the map.
It's just who is to do it and who's to
Right.
gather that
Put
information.
the map online
You
and
know.
print it, so it can go in a print format, you can print it in a.
Yeah.
Because that would
Every
be
town
kind of ideal
provides
to
a
have
map.
at the train stations, like if the passenger train comes through, you'd have a map of the businesses, it would be more for the downtown area here, you know,
Yeah,
for the
well, I
businesses
think
or the stores.
walking, but I also think for people that are coming in from the races, where can they stay? You know, I mean, you've got someone at the hospital, where do you go to get a bite to eat? You know, all towns provide a map for their town.
Oh, we had one.
When,
Once
It's
upon a
good.
time we did,
Yes, we did. We had
once
one.
upon a time we did.
when we were looking to get, funding for the charging station out here, we looked at possibly, doing advertising on the charging station. And we asked several businesses in town if they would be willing to do that. And the general consensus was, yeah, they liked the idea. It was right there, charging station was right there, they could advertise on it. I think that Lisa's idea is pretty good, and I don't understand why you say that it's not your responsibility, right? The
It's not our
Economic
responsibility
Development
to go out
Commission,
and sell-
isn't that what it's supposed to
Sell
be?
ads.
Part of economic development?
No,
To
it's
sell
not our
ads.
responsibility to go out and sell ads to businesses and merchants.
All you have to do is send a letter to the businesses and say, this is what we'd like to do, we'd like to promote your businesses. That's basically what we did.
We've agreed to do that.
Well, we're the, and it wasn't our, but we weren't economic development.
We've agreed to
I
do
think
that.
you're missing the boat.
However, we were supposed to get input.
Pardon?
We were supposed to get input. Matter of fact, Lewis has some kind of a printing process he was trying to do.
I never
Something
heard
together
that
for us.
Lewis was gonna do this map. I'll have to
Well-
speak with him tomorrow on it. As far as I know, left it as it was said when you came into my shop and showed me that, which was brilliant, it was great, it was wonderful. I mean, at $4,000 to get the maps printed up, you could ask every business in town, if you want your name on there, please donate $5, and it would cover it, because there's that many businesses in Stafford.
And also, as I remember, I also remember this too, when I said that the ad, the smallest one was going to be 175, you
Well,
said that was something.
Without even, my point being, without even putting a business's advertising on it, to say, your business is gonna have a little dot and a little number, and it's gonna be on the side for where you're located, it's gonna cost you $5, are you willing to do it? I'm sure that most businesses would be willing to take out $5 versus $175. You know, there's movement in numbers, you know, I mean, there's movement in numbers. When a community comes together, works on something together, it happens.
I have a question, what about this, create an association? If the businesses in town create this association, I don't know what part we would play with that, but that could be the first thing that happens, that's the first project that gets done, is create this map. And then everyone comes together, that will be the first project that all the businesses will work on.
But that's what they do in Putnam, that's what Putnam does, they have the business association, each business joins, and it's $100 a year to be part of this association. And that association does things like what you've said.
Well, we're having trouble getting them to join for free.
And you want
for
us to sell
free.
dots.
Free.
You know, so,
Well,
it's, you know,
Well,
but it is, you know,
but
I think
it
it's
just
something
seems-
important.
Yeah, it is important,
To do,
it is
you know,
important for the business
Well, they
and
must
the-
have a
and the-
perception that there's no value,
Right,
that there
if
needs
they're
to
not
be a
willing to.
value associated with it, so they spend money.
I don't know if
Maybe.
anybody even knows that there's that option out there, and I think it's a silly argument we're having over whether the town should supply a roadmap with locations to hospitals and parks and businesses, or not. I mean, you know, it's kinda silly that this is even a discussion with an argument and finger pointing, and I don't mean to, I'm sorry. It's just, you know,
I think the biggest problem trying to get the town to spend money on it,
Yeah.
you know, given the budget
It is,
environment.
Well, we can put that as a subject for that meet and greet, if we want a line item for that meet and greet.
Well, and we should ask CERC if that's something that they think is worth doing, because if they then recommend that, then maybe that'll have more credence with the town.
Because that's the whole point of having that meet and greet, is for the businesses to
For
know
us
each
to
other.
meet with the businesses, to open up a dialogue, to get them to talk about what it is that they think that we need to do and everything. But I think with CREC, we can also pose that to them, because I think there's a lot of potential with them coming to the meeting and talking to us, and which way can you lead us, which way would be the best way for us to go forward, you know? I do think it's a good idea.
Now, any idea where we have that meet and greet? Where
We're
we
thinking-
to go?
So down when that amphitheater, Mike, is that right, amphitheater? Yeah, when that gets built
Oh, the one
in
in
the park.
okay, when's that expected?
We've got
Was
a
that
quote
June,
of $37,000 for it, and 10,000 of which we got a grant for, so there's an additional 27,000 that I believe, Neil is gonna be talking to people to see if we can get donations to help get that
So we
going.
still gotta raise the money.
Still gotta raise some.
How long is the grant good for?
We can at least get the platform done and utilize the money for that, so we can have the platform with the stage, get that done, and try to get the electric there, you know. saves the cost of renting a stage that the Hyde
Yeah.
Park did.
I mean, we could always do it sooner, I mean, we don't have to wait for that, we can always just do
Use the
something down at the park.
facilities over at Basil's, utilize his
Yeah.
bathroom.
Oh, actually, we could do it at
you know,
Basil's.
so-
Yeah,
And
we
that
could
would
reach
be
out to Alex,
nice.
maybe.
If ever to do it, that could take a year for.
That's what I was wondering, yeah, yeah.
Who knows, 6
Exactly.
months.
We could reach out to Alex maybe,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about weather.
You know, talking about money, when we were trying to get the charging station done, he was willing to give us $500, just like that, no problem. So, yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, he's been great.
it might not be that tough to go to some businesses, bigger businesses, and get, you know, the guy that owns Maple Tire. Is an example. And get them to, I mean, wait a minute, not that one. And, you know,
Yeah.
No, I know.
so who knows, you
No,
know?
Alex has always been very helpful.
Yeah.
He's great.
Mhm.
The other thing we could do is write up a proposal and take it to the Board of Finance. All they can do is say no.
Mhm.
What do you got?
For what?
To spend
I'd love
money.
to see the town planner.
But when we have
Take it
to,
to Board of Finance.
wouldn't that have to be part of the next budget?
That's what we need.
And then that would have to be passed, and how many referendums are we gonna have?
See that big stuff?
Yeah.
We gotta be, you know,
I know, but you know what I mean, waiting for that to pass, it could be September.
You're right,
If we're
later.
gonna do
Well,
a tour, if we're gonna
yeah.
do a tour of
But you know what
site,
I'd love?
They do it outside
we
of
should
the
have a map.
I just asked them if they would take the money out of cash reserves or something to promote this, the map thing, or, you know, all they can do is say no.
Well, I think if we get that tourist,
Definitely a town planner. That is the key to this
website
town.
up there, to have a map available on there would be really key, because that's what people are gonna look at.
First we have to have somebody create a map. That's the first.
Yeah, I would
step.
tell you that the key to our town people is the town planner. I know no one wants to spend it, but it would make a huge return.
Enormous difference.
Everyone doesn't, I know they don't want their taxes to go up, but if we spend 80 to 100 grand on a town planner, it's worth every penny, I'm telling you. Every town that's got a specific town planner, it brings
There was a,
5 to 10 times
there
worth
was
of
a
it.
part-time town planner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no part-time town planner, I'm
Well,
talking
yeah.
It was
full-time, you know?
part-time, and there was a
The
40
part-time never
there was-
works.
There was a $40,000 budget for
Yeah,
it, okay?
I mean, we need a dedicated person all day,
That
all night, like he
disappeared
was saying
somewhere.
in
No,
Putnam.
we got in Putnam. We need
Look
the
at
same thing
Putnam, Putnam is a little,
It's a happening town.
you know, little Northampton now.
Absolutely.
But we need a town planner, until we do that, it's tough. Cause someone could be doing this all day long, you
I don't
know?
disagree necessarily, I just think that we have to decide, are we gonna pay 5 selectmen or have a town council that we have?
Oh,
to
yeah,
train?
yeah, but I mean, if we had a
Yeah.
dedicated town planner, you get a go-getter in there, it's worth every penny. You know, I really believe that, but
Should that be a certain?
no one wants to, you know, the budget's never gonna pass one,
People understand
unfortunately.
what they do, that's the problem,
Mhm.
Oh.
you know, the education.
Yep. All right.
Alright.
You had something in the back before? Or, no?
What, me?
Yes.
No, I just,
I've got
like I,
something.
oh.
Yeah, I've got something. No, I was actually online, and I pulled this offline, I don't know if any of you guys are interested in looking at it, but it's, this thing they do in Maine, it's the 15th annual Maine Downtown Conference. It's coming up on May 1st, so it's pretty close, but, it's, $75 for whoever wants to go. It's a thing that they do where they kind of like bounce ideas off each other. They've got a keynote speaker that specializes in tactical urbanism. And it's a lot, and there's a lot of great things I saw online that they do to make the downtown area in Maine like really great places to be. So I don't know if any of you guys would be interested in doing something like that. I've got the information right here.
Where is this?
This is in Maine.
Where in Maine?
Oh, it's in Bangor.
Bangor?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's coming up. It's close, but it might be something worthwhile. And you know, it's a creative type of meeting, and you're allowed to talk to these people and just bounce ideas off each other. It might be
I'll
something
take
good.
that, I'll send a copy out,
Sure.
send it around to everybody,
Yeah.
so you guys all get it.
This is
I appreciate it.
it's
Thank you.
small print, but
Okay.
up top
Yeah,
right
I'm
there
gonna
you
have to
can.
make it bigger.
If you go, yeah, that's the website up top. So if you
All
print
right,
some more
yeah,
out.
super,
Okay.
good.
The
So
other
I'll
thing
send
that-
this out to everybody.
The other thing we could do is the committee could, in some way or another, the mayor from Putnam came here and talked at the closing of the Woolen Mill, and he talked, and then I spent a bunch of time with him talking
Yeah.
about all the things they do, and we could either go see him, or we could maybe get him to come here, and just talk to him too.
Yeah.
He's very protective of the person that he has employed, and, you know, when he thinks she's being threatened, he keeps her locked up.
Tell her I won't try to steal it.
That's what he's
Rightfully
worried
so.
about.
Rightfully
But
so.
We
but
might
you
get
get some
we might
ideas
offer
from
more
him.
money.
Well,
But I think we should go down there sometime.
there's been a guy I talked to in Avon,
Be with
and
him.
the one I
I'd
talked
love
to,
to.
and maybe we should invite them out, Avon and also the one I talked to in Sturbridge. They're both very helpful. Sturbridge. I can find them.
Alright. And we can see if
There must be an association of people that go
Oh,
to
you're
school
right,
for a
you have to
living.
be very selective and
Maybe there's some kind of,
you know?
You see what I
It's a
did?
very- Yeah, cause it can
One
go
of
either
those
way.
town's
One of
websites,
the things
and I
I've
looked up
seen is a big trend
under
out there
Economic
now
Development
is
Commission there, and then I
they're
sent an
paid
email,
a
sent an
base
email there,
salary.
and then people
Oh,
called me
and
back.
then-
Paid
And I was on the phone with the guy from
Which
Avon,
isn't a
like,
bad
he's from
thing.
Ellie, was
You
it
know, because it makes them
phone
work.
with him for like 2 hours or so.
And the base salary is very little.
Incentive to want to get into business. You know,
Yes.
exactly.
You're bringing in big,
Definitely made
bigger businesses, and the correct businesses for the town, for the demographic. And
You know, how many grants you bring in, you know, how many grants you write, that's a key too. Don't forget a town planner, you're paying them out, they're doing $10 million grants, or say, I thought it'd be, yeah, that's big money. You know, someone dedicated, it's all on the backs of volunteers and, you know,
Came back from Florida sick.
so.
Unless you close new business, I had this, I could save it to next meeting. It's just a workshop. I don't know if Richard Chuck had already got some of this anyways.
Let's bring it up.
It's, hosted by CCM, the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, and it's titled Transformational Approach to Municipal Economic Development. It's, May 20th, Rocky Hill, costs $120 for someone, but
no,
for, unless we're a member of, that's not the full.
well,
we're a member of.
everybody
If
on
we're
this
a member,
commission,
then
Yeah,
it's
we're a
free.
member of CCM.
everyone on this commission is a member of CCM, as
Yep.
the town's a member of CCM. So any of these workshops are of no cost to any of the commission members. Now, what you can do is you can actually go on to the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities website, register with your name,
Is that the one I just did not that long ago?
Yep.
Okay.
and you'll receive any of these emails automatically for any of these workshops. This is something that the town pays for, and then in turn, any of our, if we wanna
Yeah,
attend any of these, it's, most of them are at no charge. There's been a couple of them where they're $10, but that's really covering lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause you're getting lunch
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, exactly. So that's not- You got extra copies of that?
Yeah, anyone who wants a
Excellent.
copy.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, something like
That'd be
this, the
great.
town just
Yeah.
hosted a CCM workshop
I can take that.
on parliamentary procedure at our library, where people came in from, one person came in here from Greenwich to attend that workshop.
Really?
Yeah, people from Torrington,
Wow, yeah.
there was one in from Goshen. So,
Hey, it's only a couple hours away.
yeah, and they came into our library,
Wow,
so that was, it's a good showpiece for the town staff.
it is, it is. It was right up at 7,
Yeah.
That's great. When was that?
That was a couple of weeks ago,
Wow.
back in March,
It
right?
was, I think it was a month ago, about a month ago.
Anybody have any more business? Motion to adjourn?
Second that.
Who motioned?
Well, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. My drugs are wearing off.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried.
I have my distance.